Today is I don't know what day it is. I think it's the 6th, or it might be the 8th. I'm in Bastrop, Texas. I know it's Thursday. I know that much. And I'm in Bastrop, Texas, about 35 miles outside of Austin. I hope you guys could hear anything I was just saying because my headphones were in. I think it's March 8th. I'm in Bastrop, Texas, outside of Austin. I tried to make it to Austin one day. That wasn't going to happen. And I got hit by a huge rain downpour before I got here. I literally rolled I rode on my bike like an inch, and on one side of the inch it was warm and drizzling, and the other side it was pouring and freezing cold, like as if I'd stepped into a room with air conditioning. It was bizarre. I didn't know that. I thought nature always worked gradually. This was immediate and abrupt. I didn't know anything about science. I'm trying to remember the last 2 days of riding. Oh gosh, I woke up. I stayed at this lady's house. I stopped her and asked her if I could sleep in her yard 2 days ago. Her name is Pat, and her family is the founders of Pattison, Texas, which is a small town in Texas. So I saw her weeding her garden outside and asked if I could stay. So she let me camp out in her yard. She had a huge yard. I performed for her and her daughter Kay at their house, and then the next morning she had one of the reporters in her town for her county come and interview me for the newspaper. So we'll see if that article materializes. And then so I did that interview and I performed for that lady and the reporter. Her name was Lily. And then I rode off, and I rode that day. It was a nice ride, I guess. I think I stopped in a place called Sealy, and I tried really hard to get to perform for some people there. A town called Sealy. I ended up performing for 2 young people who were smoking weed out in some dude's yard, and they were nice, and I did a scene for them, and they seemed to appreciate it, I guess, and they were nice enough. And I asked like 4 people before them, and all of them told me no. Texas has been a little bit rough for the Spirit Bearer in terms of receptiveness, but also good in other ways. And yeah, I think I rode along, and I think I tried to perform in a restaurant too. Was that the same day? Yeah, that was the same day. I tried to perform in a restaurant, but they didn't let me do it, which I understood. Although it would have been cool to perform there. And that was what was the name of that town? I think that was Sealy. And so then I rode some more, and I got to a town called Industry, Texas, which was a really small town. Maybe about 400 people live there, and this lady who I'm gonna call her an angel. I don't remember her name, but she stopped me and asked me what I was doing. I told her, and then I told her I was trying to make it to the next town and see if there was any motels. She said there wouldn't be any, which there weren't. There was one bed and breakfast that was like $95 a night for a room. What? And so she led me to 2 different parks that were in the town. One of them had I went to both of them, and the second one I went to after the second time she stopped me. No, the third time. This lady drove off and came back to check on me twice after the first time she spoke to me. So she stopped to speak to me 3 times, and finally led me to this park where it was a park like tucked away in the back in this town. It was secluded. It's a beautiful, huge park. There's footage of it. Completely, deserted. Beautiful park. It had its own bathroom, and there was a pavilion that had a canopy that was covered, and it had electrical outlets. And there was there was a rainstorm coming, so I was able to camp out there with my tent in the middle of some benches, and kind of be sheltered from the rain, and have my phone charge. And I was completely alone, and nobody bothered me, and this lady went out of her way to make sure I stopped there. So I hope she gets to see this vlog someday. I gave her my card because I really owe her a debt of thanks, because I don't know where I would have stayed otherwise, because no one else in the town was really that friendly. And I really, I would have just been out in the rain all night. I mean, I would have just put up my tent and put a tarp over it, but would have been uncomfortable at the very least. Next day I got up and packed up, which was today? Was that today? Yeah, I got up, I packed up, I rode through town, I got something to eat, and I started riding and ride until I got to LaGrange, Texas. I spent most of the day riding through the rain, which is my first day riding through the rain. Luckily it wasn't like hard rain, it's just like kind of mist and drizzling and then light rain, but back and forth. But my first day of a rain ride, I hope I don't wake up sick tomorrow. I just drank 2 bottles of orange juice. I got to a town finally called LaGrange, Texas, which is the last, I think, town of any size. Well, maybe Bastrop is pretty big too, where I am. But LaGrange is about 4,000 people. I stopped there, and I went to a cafe and had lunch at a place called the, oh my gosh, I have the name on another video that I'm putting up, but it's like the Corner Cafe or something, or the Latte on the Square or something like that, or Cafe on the Square in LaGrange, Texas. I have the name in another video that I'm putting up, but anyway, they were very nice to me. I also can't remember the name of the lady who owned it, but she says her name. I think it's Christina. And after I ate, I went up to her and I propositioned her and I told her what I was doing, and I said, can I perform here? And she said I could only do it if I could convince all of her customers. So I did just that, and by show of hands, they voted to let me perform. So I did a Romeo and Juliet scene for them, which is quickly becoming, the most, like, the go-to scene, usually. I don't know if I do that the most, but, like, if I really want a crowd pleaser, that usually is the scene that I do, because everybody knows that play, and it's probably one of my better scenes. But I do try to do all the scenes whenever I can. Whenever the situation is appropriate, I try to do scenes that are appropriate to the situation. Anyway, I performed the scene for them. They were really appreciative. People were really nice. One of the girls that worked there was really interested in what I was doing and said she wanted to maybe interview me. Another dude from University of Houston said he wanted to interview me. I haven't heard from him yet, but we'll see. Anyway, I made some money there, which was really nice. Then from LaGrange, I started riding. I got back on the road and I tried to do like another 30 miles to get here to Bastrop, which was okay until I hit that really strong rain right before I got here and ended up dropping $50 to be here in this Days Inn. Which, as I'm closing this video, leads me to another thing I wanted to say. Please, if you are able, if you even got $5 to spare, please go to my blog, where you are right now, probably, if you're watching this video. Go down and scroll down to the bottom, go to the donate button, and you can donate via your debit card or credit card to my PayPal. Anything you can will help, because sometimes I will run into issues where I do need to get my bike tuned up, or just to be able to eat, or to be able to have a place to sleep if there's a thunderstorm going on outside. And I understand that it's all from your generosity, not because anybody owes me anything, but I'm really appreciative, and it helps me to keep going. And I've just crossed, my first 1,000 miles, and I got about 6,000 more to go. And I really depend on your generosity. So that's enough about that. That's the end of this update. Just wanted to get that out. I'm probably forgetting details. I've tried to put up some pictures and other stuff. This update is about 10 minutes long, and I'm sorry about that. I can't be that interesting. Alright, that's it. God bless you all. Spirit Bear out.